I see Derrick Drake.
Hi, Laura.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
All right, so
I'm
we're streaming live right now, but and then it's time to actually start the show as well. So
Awesome.
where's my
So,
record? You got a question, Derrick?
well, I kind of want to start off with what we were talking about before the show started, which was Yahoo Finance says that mortgage rates are to soar higher after this latest rate increase, but the end of the hiking cycle is in sight.
All right, give me a second. I'm gonna turn on this record. Hey, folks, welcome back. Last week, we didn't get on, but we are back with Hump Day Real Estate with Kendell and the DMV. We have some wonderful guests with us tonight. We're gonna let who we have here, Mr. Derrick, with Mr. Derrick Drake. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Marcellus, how you doing today?
All is well. And then who was
Awesome.
that other? Who was that pretty lady we have back there? Who's that we got there?
good evening. Thank you for the compliment. All ladies love compliments, so thank you. Laura.Fournier, I'm with Nations Lending and happy to be here with you both.
Hey, thanks so much for stopping past.
Awesome. Awesome.
So Derrick, you tell me you got some questions you want to ask, because one of the reasons why you wanted to come on is you wanted to get some information from a loan officer. You're like a you want to come from a point of view of a buyer, wondering about what's going on in the market and some things that a loan officer can ask a question for you. So go ahead and take it away.
All right. So I would actually I actually wanted to ask something else, but coming from the point of a buyer, and I guess Laura can answer this question. If I were to come to you, Laura, and say I'm a first-time home buyer, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
What and I ask you, what's the requirements for getting lending? What would you say to a person like myself?
Well, I would say that's a really good question, and a question that a lot of home buyers ask when they're trying to kind of get their feet wet in the home buying process. And I would say the biggest thing that we look at is their credit, and the credit score is probably the number one determiner of what kind of programs are available for them, whether they can buy, they're ready to buy now, what the costs are going to be, because those are all credit score driven. So credit's a major factor in the lending decision, because that literally gives the credit score is a numeric that shows the lender their likelihood to repay. And then, of course, we're going to look at their history of employment. We do go back 2 years, so they want to see steady, consistent employment for those 2 years. And we look at, are they salary, hourly, are they self-employed, commission, a mix of all of the above? So those are all a lot of other factors that go into it. So those are kind of like the biggies that we look at to get them started in the process.
Great. So I come to you, Laura. I say, hey, I've got about $20,000 saved, right?
I'm going to go, wow, that's awesome. Good job.
Great.
Good start. Good start.
Great. But here's the problem here. My credit's shot, you know, and I don't know, where to begin to try to fix the problem. What would you say to me?
I would say there's always a fix to the problem. But first of all, we have to understand the full scope of the problem. So I would, ask them questions about what they know about their credit. Have they actually looked at a credit report? Are they going off of an old one? Or is something big happening recently? So there's some questions there, but I would still encourage them to do the loan application so that I have their permission to pull credit, and then I have their big financial picture with their employment and their savings and job history, whether it's been 1 or 5, did they just get out of school, those sort of things, how they get paid. There's a lot of questions, and having them fill out the application. They can either do a web application on their phone or off their computer, or I can take the application for them and put it in, enter the data that way, and then, pull the credit. We got to see it. We absolutely have to see it. So we have to see it,
Absolutely,
and evaluate it, and see if everything that's showing up on the credit report, is it real? Is that really theirs? Or maybe they have a name that's, maybe they're a junior or the third, or they have a common name like, Jane Doe, John Smith, and it could have gotten something from somebody else's credit. So, we have to decipher through all of that. But if they have a little bit of money and there are some things that need to be repaired, then we have the opportunity to repair them quick and keeping them moving.
So when we're talking about, let's say there's just, some typical things that you see, coming through your office, that the repair time, when you say quick, like what's the time frame for that, something, that's relatively, common?
Well, most medical collections, we don't even consider them anymore. If it's small collections, whatever, from the phone company, and it's whatever, $189, we really ignore quite a few of them.
Say like, put, the phone bill in my name when I was a baby or something like that.
And that has happened. I have a couple customers that happened.
Yeah.
More than just the phone bill. It's actually kind of a family tragedy, but that can be very messy. But yeah, if it's small, like a couple small collections or some medical collections, and their score is still pretty decent in the mid 600s or something, for the most part, we can ignore some of those collections. If it's deeper stuff, bigger stuff, like a car repo, or say they had a bankruptcy or a foreclosure, then we have to get more paperwork and maybe use the bankruptcy papers to have the credit report updated. So we'll dig a little deeper, figure out what kind of repair they need. I can run a credit wayfinder or a credit analyzer to kind of play with their report, to give them recommendations and suggestions on what to do, how to do it, how a kind of time frame based on what they're telling me. If it's more extensive, then I have a couple credit repair people that I would recommend that they use, and then we kind of go into a coaching type program where we are in touch, but they're working with a credit repair specialist to get some of these bigger things done. But if they're determined, if they stay on track, if they stay in communication and they do their homework, just like they were back in school. This is buying a house school. Do your homework, follow your coach's suggestions. Unfortunately, I can't make them like do laps or push-ups when they don't follow my suggestions.
I'm pretty sure you could persuade to get a 1 or 2 out of a couple of clients.
So, but everything, when somebody's willing and they're able, can be repaired. So
Awesome.
just, you gotta put the past in the past and
Right.
pay up and change your ways,
Absolutely.
learn some new skills and move forward.
Awesome. So let me ask you now, what is a decent credit score that you could work with, relatively right away?
If they have their own funds, like they don't need a down payment assistance program, then 580 and up. Of course, it's preferable to get them to 640 or 660 because I can do better pricing, more options,
Right.
that sort of thing. But if they have some money, we can do 580 on FHA loan. If they need down payment assistance, we have to get them to 640. That's the minimum.
640 is
And
the minimum.
that's set by the program, like the Maryland mortgage program. They set that minimum credit score floor.
Awesome. Awesome. And you are well versed in the Maryland mortgage program.
Yes, we use that pretty frequently, probably a couple times a month. So yeah, they have numerous programs underneath their umbrella. So whichever program, they have a side for repeat home buyers, but that don't own a home or won't own a home when they go to settlement on the new home. They have, so you can not be a first-time home buyer, and still use some down payment assistance, or you can be a first-time home buyer and then they have, I don't know, 6, 7 programs for first-time home buyers.
So with your repeat buyers, do you see like people selling then buying, or versus people who are buying their first home and then refinancing and then buying investment homes, as with the burst strategy? Which do you see more coming through your office?
It's really depends on, I see both. I handle a lot of complex loans with moving parts. I love working with customers that are trying to strategize and like move up or get into investment properties, but they're not quite sure how to do it with the finances they have on hand. I've had clients that they wanted to keep their current house and not sell it, keep it as a rental, but they didn't know how to do that. And they were afraid of being cash poor and they were a little overextended. So using their whole financial picture, I created a plan and we actually reduced their out-of-pocket by like $1,250. Their house became a rental. They bought their new home and just made the whole thing happen because saw the bigger picture. I have a lot of extra studies. I have a degree in finance, but I study and strategize with people and use all of their funds. So I explain to them that all of their assets, whether it's called savings or checking or equity in your home or, your 401k, that's all yours. It just has different names on it. So if you're taking some out of maybe your 401k and you use it for your down payment, it's still an asset. It's just got a different label on it. And they're like, oh, wow, I never thought of it that way. So
you kind of like make it, you simplify it for the client, those complex terms and those complex products that you utilize at Nation's Land, right?
I use their funds that they have available, because sometimes they'll say, oh, I'm selling my house and I want to put 50% down, yet they have like super heavy and consumer debt. And I'm like, let's restructure this. And I can show you how we can improve your tax flow, maximize tax advantages and put you in a much better financial situation than you were if you want to pay off your best friend, your mortgage, and you want to carry around these bums that are, squatting with you. Your credit cards, your Visa and MasterCard are squatters in your house, and you want to pay off, your best friend, your mortgage. That makes no sense.
Right. So Visa and MasterCard are the squatters that we kind of get under control. I like that.
Yeah. So we talk about all of those things and draw up a plan of action, and then execute. So yeah, they can sometimes, move, buy their new house while they're carrying the current house if they can afford it. And then when they sell the house, they can do a principal curtailment, or maybe then they're going to take that money and instead of making a huge down payment, maybe buy that investment property, or maybe buy that second home, or maybe get out of debt, or maybe fund their retirement account. So there's a lot of things that make sense if you have a in-depth, intentional conversation and then make a plan. So that's why a lot of my clients refer to me as the intentional confidant, because I'm very intentional about getting to why they want to do something, how they think they want to do it, and then giving them a plan. And I'm confident because I'm trusted. Everything's confidential, but they're going to get a real plan of action that's going to take them places.
Awesome.
Build wealth. That's what MARCELLUS and I always talking about, is real estate and building wealth, generational wealth.
Generational wealth and financial freedom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's a lot of steps to take before you pay off your mortgage. Even if at rates in the 6s, it's still a lot lower than those credit cards that are probably in the 20 somethings.
Right.
And are not tax deductible.
So you're not just, it's not just lending, it's also financial planning. I mean,
we do some financial planning. I don't do any stocks or bonds or anything like that, but I can refer, and so can you. But just getting them in the right place to have better cash flow and kind of think about their money differently is what I like to do.
Mm-hmm.
And even with the beginners, the starters, the first time home buyers, talking to them about, saving money, having, funds for those rainy day when something in your house breaks down, so that you're not swiping, MasterCard and Visa to pay for things.
Right. I want to kind of talk a little bit about that MasterCard, Visa, the being friends with your squatters. That
don't be friends with squatters.
Right. That type of shifting, you actually aid in shifting that mentality. So let's talk a little bit about, say I come into you and again my credit is, it's less than, what was that, 450? And so I tell you, okay, I don't mind, going forward with I want to go forward with the process, but I hear somewhere about hard and soft pulls, right? Now let's just kind of like fast track this, like, whether it's a hard or soft pull, you need to get it done, right?
Yeah, and when we're doing a mortgage, the application, it is a hard pull.
It's a hard
pull your credit from TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian.
But in your professional opinion, do you recommend doing the hard pull, even though I'm telling you, I know I don't have the best credit in town? What do you say to me?
I say, it's okay. I understand that's where you were, and that number is a reflection of some things you've done in the past, but we're here now. We're right here in the present. And yes, it's going to be a hard pull, but if your credit score is already low, 3 points is not going to hurt you. The hurt is already from the past. This is something that's good, that's going to take you into the future.
Right. That good thing.
So that's small thinking to say, oh my God, I'm going to lose a couple points. Well, you didn't think that way when you were whatever, out shopping or, buying a fancy car, or, eating
Gucci
out for the sixth time that week and you swiped your credit card, you weren't thinking as your balance was creeping up that you were dive bombing your credit score. So now you're trying to do something positive and you're going to worry about it? No, that's silly.
absolutely right. And because what we're actually discussing is the scarcity mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And you are, when you're talking with clients and customers with that scarcity mindset, you're actually trying to make the adjustment and shift their thinking towards the abundance mindset.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And
yeah,
it's like we have to look at it, because if I don't know what's really going on, I can't give you good suggestions. And I don't really want to give you, pie in the sky, non-reality suggestions. An unprofessional person, you can find plenty of those, but that's not my thing. I want to give you professional advice. You came to me, you were recommended to me, and that's why trust that you're going to get professional advice. But we got to rip the Band-Aid off and take a look. We're going to put on our big girl and big boy panties.
You got some people say,
take a look. Take a look.
I don't like seeing blood. Laura, please don't rip it off. Please don't.
You can look the other way, but I'm going to look and I'm going to rip the Band-Aid off fast.
Rip it off, Laura.
But eventually you got to put your eyeballs on it, because we're going to talk about it. It's going to be okay. Husband and wives, like, you have to, I don't care, break out some candles and a bottle of vino, and we're going to be nice. We're going to play nice in the sandbox, and and every married couple, like, somebody's more of a saver and somebody's more of a spender. So we got to be nice to each other. We got to be generous, but we both have to kind of come a little bit towards the middle. Everybody's got to make adjustments, because you can't be holding that tight to the money that you're making and make more.
Right.
And you can't be spending everything that you're making frivolously and get to the goals that you want to get to. So everybody's got to bend a little bit.
Right. My grandmother Eloise used to say, if you're holding, the money in your hand too tightly, you don't have room to let, money go into your hand. And so that's, absolutely.
Yeah, it says to loosen your tent straps and open it up so you can invite more in. So
absolutely.
at the same time, you can't be out there spending like, a drunken sailor on everything you see. I like shopping. I like shopping, girlfriends. I like shopping, but sometimes no. Yeah. That's what my mother said. Budget. No is a complete sentence. No. You got to say no to yourself. Like, it's okay.
You got to have a budget.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to not only have a budget, it's one thing to have it written down, but you actually have to be disciplined enough to stick to the budget.
Yes, exactly. And the more you stick to the budget, the easier sticking to the budget gets. It's harder in the beginning where you don't have that muscle built up to actually like look at your budget. I always have people, like, if we're doing budgeting and we're making a plan, put that budget in your wallet, put it in your purse bucket, put it on your dashboard, put it on the doors when you're walking out. So you're going to see it when you're going out to do something. Take your credit cards out of your wallet. Don't carry them. Don't carry them.
Those little life hacks, if you
oh my God, it's too easy now, especially since COVID and people were at home, and now we were shopping online before, but now everybody's like, you gotta get away from your computer unless you're doing your work, and that's it. Then off it goes, because too tempting.
Right. I remember when my mom was going and she was trying to budget, break, the scarcity mindset. She had her squatters and she put them in a block of ice. She put in a block of ice and then put it in the in the freezer, and so it was
Mhm.
no way of getting it out.
Yeah, because then you gotta wait till it thaws to go
Or
out. And see, but before we used to have to like
yeah, a knife or
get
something.
in our car, drive to the mall, park, go in the mall, find the store, browse, so it took that at least took some effort. Now you're just in front of your computer. And if you looked at a pair of shoes, they've sent it to your,
That now all you need is your phone. You don't even need your card.
yeah,
That's the
yeah,
new.
so easy. So temptation is so easy now for everything, gambling,
Oh
you
yeah,
know, they'll deliver your liquor to you, which has some benefits because then you're not drinking and driving, but then you can get it too easy.
yeah.
Temptation is the biggest problem now. And yeah, you have to have discipline.
It's everywhere. Discipline is very important. Discipline. I think discipline is it is underrated, and
Mhm.
like most of the people who have those credit issues and the monetary reserve issues, is derived from lack of discipline.
Yes, it is. And we kind of think of the word discipline as when you're, you know, my dad, my mom would be, wait till your dad gets home. My brother and I used to think about what size belt was he wearing? That's what you think of as discipline. Like you got spanked, if
I
you were
doubt.
being bad. But now discipline is more like doing the right thing when you don't want to. Like you
Absolutely.
know what the right thing is. We all know what the right thing is.
We do.
Doing it
We
when we
really do.
don't want to
That's
that's
yeah,
when you really make
we feel
discipline.
like we don't want, we have this sense of, no one can really tell us what to do. And even though we know what's to be right, we just really are, impulsive when it comes to spending and things that we like and we see. We just think of getting it today and then worry about consequences tomorrow.
Yeah, so you have to put like that's why you have to put visual reminders.
Mm.
Like have that budget on your refrigerator, on the door that you walk out, in your wallet, and then maybe get a picture of a house that you want. Because you have to have visual reminders of why you're disciplining yourself, at least in the beginning, to help you along. I remember when my kids were littler, it was around the 2008 crash, and I was really budgeting. I had a budget, I had it all over the place, and I had cash envelopes for like food. My kids would be like, we want pizza. And I'd be like, we can't get pizza because it's not in the budget. After a couple of weeks, all of them came together. I had 5 kids, and they kind of surrounded me like a pack of velociraptors. And they're like, we want to see this budget thing.
But
They were so disappointed when I broke out a piece of paper and they found out that this piece of paper was controlling their life.
yeah, I think
Hilarious.
moments like that build character, and they're good teachable moments. And what it does is it kind of shortens the learning curve for the next generation when you're able to.
Mhm. Absolutely. So it's great for your kids
It is.
to
Yes.
know that you have a budget. And
Mhm.
we had a food envelope, and I don't know, maybe it was the 21st, and we had to make it to whatever day I got paid. And I'd be like, there's $40 left in there. We need bread for lunches and milk, and no pizzas. We're not having pizza. So I always said, we're going to eat at Chez Laura. And they're like, what's that? And I was like, that's my cafe.
Right. You get, like,
And
that's a sign you have in your kitchen.
but it tricked them a few times. Then they're like, oh
Oh,
God.
jokes on you.
Now they use all my funny jokes. They're like, oh, mother, you had the craziest things. I was like, I had to entertain myself somehow.
And you know what? I think when we do that for our children, they appreciate us more. You know, it goes beyond just, you know, yeah, you got a house, you know, we're talking about, you know, financial, you know, independence and economic freedom, but it's more of a sense of character building as well. And, you know, that kind of goes to, you know, higher up in the arc of, you know, the actualization pyramid. Um,
Because
oh, you
maybe nobody is
know,
taught this stuff for the most
we're
part.
not.
Nobody's, we
Now I'm gonna
learn it
give
kind of
push.
by observation of what our parents did, and they could have had a lot of arguments around it. So then you have this thing in your head and in your body about money, and you get tight, you know, when your spouse goes, oh, we need to talk about the finances, and you're like, oh, like that. But you know, you gotta talk about it, say this was my experience growing up. When you say that, that like triggers me, and have like a conversation with grace and love, and go, oh, wow, I never knew that, you never shared that with me. And you
A
know,
real.
and this is how my household did it. And okay, well, we're going to have a conversation, we're going to come together and have this conversation. Like, one person will be the numbers person and they can draw up the numbers, but the other one has to actually come to a little meeting once a week minimum and go, oh, okay, here's all the numbers. And then they make contributions. They're like, oh, could we adjust this one a little bit? Or maybe I could tighten up the food budget from whatever, 600 to 550 and free up $50 for us to go out to get pizza or something. You know,
Mm,
but you both contributing and listening, and the person that is the spender is going to have to say, okay, I'm going to have $300 a month that I can do whatever in the hell I want to do with it, and the other person has to allow it. Let them have that freedom,
right, right.
give them that budgeted money, so then they can be honest with each other and they don't have to be like that anymore.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna give you some pushback though, there, Laura, on that last statement you made about, you
Good.
know, we're not being taught, right? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I actually went to Valley Forge Military Academy in Wayne, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, that.
Westmore was one of my plebe brothers, you know, cadet brother up there. And so in that school, which was, you know, you had international, you know, students that would come there, and, you know, pretty wealthy, you know, well known, you know, a lot of their parents were dignitaries and
Mm-hmm.
at nature, ambassadors, you know, things of that nature. So, you know, I would say that having been at the, you know, around in these circles, and also, you know, when I was interning for Senator Kennedy, being in those circles,
Mm-hmm.
those there is a sense of, you know, they already know these things,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that caliber of a people. They understand it, and it's taught, you know, down, it's handed down throughout the generations. And
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the people who may be listening to this live stream, you know, they may be like, well, oh, this is new. This is some. This is not these concepts are quite old.
Oh, very old. Way back to the beginning.
Yes, the beginning. Yeah. So I just
You can
wanted
read the Bible and get a lot of money, good money direction. There's a great book, The Richest Man in Babylon. Great book, simple read, fun read. And that's a great place to start to putting some finance together. But no matter what family you come from, maybe they did a lot of good things, but you still could have picked up, you know, some bad habits or misconstrued some things that you saw as a kid, and you saw it one way and it was really another way. But
yeah.
yeah, but no matter, you know, for the average bear, us average bears from the average household, you know, I mean, my parents did my mother was a banker, so we did talk about money quite a bit. And my dad was self-employed, had his own business, and I did his books for him from the time I was 12.
Absolutely.
So I was playing with money and keeping records. So I grew up with that quite a bit. My mother had a budget. She kept extensive notes on everything, all the way up until she passed. Her utilities, every payment, just detailed notes. So I never could match quite that, but I did keep it until I was like, well, I don't really need to write down my utilities, but
Yeah.
she could go back decades.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
It's those habits that get handed down that, carry us, through the times that we're in. And, as long as we continue to pass it down, like, each generation, even though we may not be in the times as the past generations,
Mhm.
still are able to maintain, that value.
Yeah, I mean, we never as kids saw credit cards because my parents didn't have credit cards, not until I was older. So
Mhm.
but my kids, even if I was using a debit card, there, if I said, "Oh, I don't have any money," they're like, "Break out that little plastic card thing." So I had to educate them on what that really meant, but they didn't quite grasp. They just saw, well, you can just swipe it and go, like you're not even taking out any cash. So, you
That's,
really,
that's that teachable moment there, Laura.
that's right. So you really have to talk to them and
Exactly.
not let them make decisions, but have those conversations so that they are learning younger, and you can even help them learn by, my kids got an allowance for doing chores and stuff like that.
Yes. Now, chores and allowance, that right there, I think are, the mom child, character building, fundamental learning, first steps right there. If I had to say, like, from a baby crawling to walking, that's probably, the entry point, to, really learning these values.
Yeah, because I know that at a certain point, when the budget was tight, my mom said, "Okay, I have this much to pay for your school clothes for the fall. If you want anything else, you have to buy it yourself."
Hmm.
So, I mean, I started working when I was 12. I haven't been unemployed since. And that was quite a long time ago. So that's why I love working. That's why I love business. I, love talking about money, but people think budgeting is a bad word, but budgeting puts you in control. It makes you the master of your money because you're directing your money where to go. If you don't do that, if you're not the mastering of your money, the coach of your money, or the, director, if you're into music, if you're not telling it where to go, you're going to be wondering where it went.
Laura, let me ask you this. How important is it to know the value of a dollar?
It's absolutely vital, because how are you going to know if you're getting paid what you're worth? How are you going to know if you got the proper change back? How are you going to know how to build wealth? How are you going to know how to get out of scarcity and into abundance if you're not really being respectful to your own personal hard work? Like, you're going out, you're getting out of bed, it's cold and dark because we're going into winter. You're getting out of bed and you're going to a job, and you're making that money, and then you're disrespecting yourself by not directing it. So I think it's very, very important. And if you are a parent, you're setting you're the role model for your kids. And we all want our kids to do great things and to be great. But I think if you're modeling that for them, it's easier for them to come up and get to your standard and then help elevate you, because they'll learn new things and bring that home. So I think it's so important
Yes.
to really value what you do, no matter what job you do it your best. Like, go there, be happy, make the best of your day, and look around and go, oh, what's that person doing? Oh, I kind of like that. And then figure out how to get over there and do that. I remember when I worked at the bank and I was just 18 and I saw people that were 10, 12, 15 years older than me doing what I came in entry. I was like, ooh, I don't want to do this for long.
Right.
I don't want to be here in 15 years. I started looking around going, ooh, what's that job? Ooh, how do I get over there?
Right.
You know, then you ask questions and you start moving towards that. Like
Right.
my kids they were like, I hate this job. I'm like, good. It's
Right.
your entry level job. I don't want you to be there in 3 years. I'm glad you hate it, but go there with a smile, work hard, and learn what other people are doing around you so that you have more skills, and then move up.
So you're literally finding yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then people will see that you're interested, that you're happy, that you're energetic, and they'll go, ooh, I want that person on my team, and they'll bring you up.
Mm. Yes.
But if you go to work like you're a curmudgeon, and you're not happy and you're just bringing everything bad with you,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you're going to have a long day.
Oh yeah. It's the difference. I would even say, like, with something like that, if you really are in a job, because that sounds like a job, if you're if you're not feeling it, you have to be tied into it. You have to get into it. So that's the difference between a career and a job. Someone can take a position and it could be two people in the same position, and it's literally the same description of the same position. And to one person, it is a career, and to the other person, it's a job.
Mm-hmm. But you can use that job as your springboard to your career.
Exactly. But that comes with switching from that scarcity mindset to that abundance mindset, seeing past that day, seeing past, oh, I hate getting up in the morning, seeing past, oh, I don't like seeing these people every day. That day, getting to shifting from that mindset to seeing the future, saying, well, I'm only going to be here for the next 12 months to 24 months, but I have a plan. Within that 12 to 24 months, I'm going to switch over to this division, and then I'm going to excel. And I'm going to.
But they're not going to want you at that division or anywhere else if you're a curmudgeon. So you have to go to work and be happy, and be happy knowing that you're using this as a springboard to the next thing. Exactly. But you're still learning everything. Like every job I've ever had taught me something that I brought to the next level, that I brought to the next job, to the next, and got into my career. And I learned so much, but I was, blessed because, God always put somebody there that saw something and elevated me up. And I just think that can happen if you put the smile on your face and you like where you are, and you're going to have more fun at work if you're having fun, like liking your coworkers, by having a smile, by doing extra work, by making the day go faster, by being nice to your customers. And then somebody's going to see that and they're going to pull you up. It's going to happen, but it won't happen if you're, have a sourpuss face.
Exactly. I think if more people saw the opportunity in the day when they go to work, those people, who are really dreading going to, the job, if they saw the opportunity, there's an opportunity in every second of the day. Mm-hmm. Like,
Yeah, and it pays, like, we have so much opportunity now. There's so much opportunity. There's
absolutely.
so much job opportunity. Everywhere you go these days, there's a shortage of employees because people don't want to work. So it's like the golden ticket to push into this economy and go places and make some money and maybe work two jobs. I've worked two jobs plenty of times, and it's okay because I had a plan. I knew, I went to school, college full time, and worked full time. I
Mhm.
lived out on my own, and I took, so it can be done. You can do it. God gave everybody skills, gave them a gift. Find out what your gift is, and the rest of the stuff you can learn.
Absolutely.
Everybody has a gift and a talent, and the rest we learn.
Absolutely. I remember, do you remember Ben Franklin's?
I Yes,
Ben,
I remember Ben Franklin. Yeah.
so look, Ben
Love
Franklin.
Ben Franklin. I've read a couple books about him.
No. Okay, not Ben Franklin, but like there used to be a store called Ben Franklin.
Oh, Ben Franklin. Yes. I got a little
Yeah, a little like Sears.
five and dime or something like that.
So okay, this is what happened. So my mother used to work in Ben Franklin's in the Outer Banks, where she's from, Roanoke Island. And it was a summer job. So she, was a cashier at Ben Franklin's. And it's a guy that came into the store and he saw my mom, it was her and like a couple of other employees and their supervisor, but the other employees didn't necessarily take the job seriously. But my mom was, diligent in doing her job and everything. And so he asked my mom, he said, you're very pleasant, and you seem like you know your job very well. Have you thought about an opportunity in the federal government? And she was like, no, not really. But she tells the story often. But anywho, it's those opportunities. That goes back to opportunities. It's people can see, when you are happy, when you're sad. People can feel the energy from you, and you never know who you're talking to. You may be in a position when you go out, the opportunities are right in front of you. You don't even know it. There's opportunities in your phone.
Oh yeah. All those contacts.
All the time. There's opportunities in your phone right now. And so, yeah, definitely really have to go through with that mindset of abundance.
Yeah, exactly. And then you set those goals and you get professional help, and then follow the path, follow the instructions, do the homework. And then before you know it, you own a house. And then maybe before you know it, you own 12. Because you can start out in your little starter home. It's not what you want, but it's cute and it's yours. And then stay there a couple of years and then turn that one into a rental and buy, the next house. And I have plenty of clients that have done that, and they have a little fleet of houses. So when they retire, they have income coming from 3, 4, 5, 6 houses that they rent out. And they own their own house free and clear because they've gotten it paid off. And it's really makes a huge difference in the lives of everybody, of their whole family. And what a great example to set.
Absolutely. I absolutely wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah. So, and it's all possible. So no matter where you are or what's going on, whether you have some credit challenges or things, it can be fixed. It might take time. It might take a year. It might take you 2 years, but it's going to take longer if you don't start.
Absolutely. You know what? Absolutely. You're right. You're right. But I'm going to have to step off.
We did
Right.
a lot of philosophy tonight, but
Yeah, we certainly Did. And I kind of like don't want to say too much because I know I got you coming on in about a week or so on to
Mhm.
my show. But yeah. So Marcellus, you there?
He's
I'm
talking to somebody.
to wrap up. I got a phone call to take.
Okay, I understand.
But
But it's nice to meet you on
absolutely.
this call, and I look forward to being on your show and talking about all sorts of other things. I hope this was encouraging to some people that are seeing it, because it doesn't matter where you've been, it only matters where you are today and where you're going. So where you are is where you are, but where you're going is all to be created. It
That's
can be
it.
anything.
Great, great meeting you face to face, Laura, and I'll see you next week. Okay.
All righty. Thank you.
Bye.
So I hope all of that for anybody that's out there watching was helpful, and maybe it brought back some family stories that you have, or some thoughts about, what your mom or dad taught you about money. And that would be fun to hear in some comments. If you like, comment, and share this evening's Zoom. And that would be great to hear some of your family stories. What you learned about money and what you comment on could be helpful to somebody else. But no matter where you are, I really encourage you to get some professional advice. If you want to call me, my number's right there on my screen. If you text winter, that is actually a little Word document that we have for some repair suggestions for getting ready for the winter months to keep your house in good repair. So I'll be happy to send you that. If you text me credit, I will send you some credit help on a document. I can text that to you, or email it to you. And if you want to get hold of me, just give me a call, 301-674-7716. And I'm always happy to meet you and see where you are, and make a plan on how to get you to reaching your goal and beyond. Absolutely. To see if Marcellus is ready. Marcellus, are you there? I think he's actually talking to somebody. See what's going to happen here. I can't see the screen if there's anybody chatting. Let me see. No chats, no questions. So it's a good time to buy a house. Yes, interest rates are up into, say, the mid sixes or so, but it's still a good time to buy. The best time to buy is when you can afford it, when it's in your budget to make that house payment. And we are certainly happy to show you all the options, all the information and education that you need to make a great decision. Can you hear us, Marcellus? You signing off? Bye, everybody. Great talking to you.